So that action activity that you've been holding off on, you've been procrastinating on it for quite some time now. How long has it been that you initially had the idea to take action on it? Maybe it's been a couple of days, weeks, months, or maybe even years, and still you haven't gotten it done because you're procrastinating. So it's Franklin here again, and in this video I'll be sharing with you reasons why we procrastinate and how you can get rid of it. And obviously, I know procrastinating is something that we struggle with. Like I have my own moments too with procrastination, but thankfully, having understood and studied procrastination a bit more is giving me an idea of how to tackle it, and that's also something that I'll be sharing here with you in this video. So first of all, procrastination is never an issue of time. It's not a lack of time management and whatnot. It's usually an issue of directing our energy in the wrong places. And instead of focusing on, again, the things that we really want, we may be focusing on the things that we don't want, maybe because of fear or because of something else. But there are two major reasons why we procrastinate if we look deeper and deeper, right? And the first major reason is fear. The fear of, say, the outcome. The fear that the outcome that we want is not going to give us the results. That's the fear that the outcome that we want is not going to be the same, rather, as the results in reality. I'll give you a very good example. So sometime, actually it was very recent, I had an idea entering into the new year that I was going to execute on. And this idea required me reaching out to a couple people and doing some form of collaboration with them. And so I quickly identified the people who I wanted to reach out to. And obviously I was very excited about getting into doing this, because it was something that would help all the parties, benefit all the parties involved. I was excited, and obviously I had it to do it on a particular week. So that entire week passed, and guess what? By the end of the week, I still hadn't gotten it done. Right? I still hadn't reached out to this individual, and obviously I had to then ensure that I did it the next week. But that second week, I asked myself the question, why didn't I reach out to those people? And obviously it takes a lot of honesty and sincerity for us to literally get kind of breakthrough. And in truth, I was literally looking to control the outcome. In other words, I was looking to control the response of the people I was going to reach out to. And when the response of the people, I was afraid that it was not going to tally with what I had in mind. In other words, my assumption was, oh man, these people they're going to turn down the request, and they were just going to say no. And that was, in truth, what was holding me back, what was keeping me from reaching out to those individuals. I had the fear of rejection per se. But you know what? That's it's something that I already committed to. Hey, I cannot allow fear hold me back anymore. And I was always going to do it scared. So guess what? I reached out to these individuals, and they said yes, and they said yes happily. And obviously this is a pattern that I've seen over and over again. I'm trying to take an action, and I had some assumption in my mind of the response. And in almost all the cases, very, very rare cases where the response I had in my head was exactly the same as what happened. More often than not, people would say yes. So that was one of the main ways that fear manifests, the fear that holds us back and gets us to procrastinate. And the other way that this fear manifests is in perfectionism. Perfectionism, we all know about this. Are you a perfectionist? Alright, so I feel for me, this was a very, very big one for me. I would store and hold off on particular maybe launching something or taking action on something, because in my mind I'm I want it to be perfect. But there's seldomly, is there really something called perfect, right? is there really something called perfect? And it almost feels like we know that perfection doesn't exist, and that's why we tend to ride on I want to make it perfect, because we know as long as we're on there, we'll never ever get that thing completed. We'll never ever get it out of the window. Obviously, I'm not saying to launch something crappy, but we always know when we are stalling and holding off and afraid because we want it to be perfect. And underneath the surface, perfectionism is just fear. Again, is one way that fear manifests itself. In truth, we're usually sticking to perfectionism because we are afraid of the outcome. We don't know what people will say when we launch that book, when we launch that business. We don't know how people respond. And most importantly, we are afraid that people respond in a way that is different than what we anticipate. In other words, they would not like it. They would not appreciate it as much. And that's why we keep holding back and stalling because we want it to be perfect. And I know this was a big issue for me as well until I began to and decided to live on this mantra that done beats perfect, and it has continued to help me a lot to come up with the ideas, take it out there, get feedback, because that's the only way I can know whether or not it's going to work. Getting feedback from from people out there and tweaking it, going through iterations until it gets it just keeps getting better and better. So that's fear. One of the main reasons why we procrastinate. The other reason why we procrastinate on a particular activity is simply that it's not as important as we say it is. And I know that this one has happened to me a number of times where week after week I keep passing on a particular activity. And I remember this one time I just got honest and like, why am I procrastinating on this activity? Why am I procrastinating on this one? And in truth, it wasn't as important, at least for me at that time. And that's why I did not have the motivation to even get to work on it. And so sometimes it's just the fact that the activity is not as important as we claim it is at that point, and that's why, and that's fine. Just let go and pass by on it. So, which of these two major reasons do you think is the cause for you procrastinating on that activity? There's probably maybe an activity you're procrastinating on. Which of these could be the reason why you're procrastinating on it? Again, it requires honesty on our part if we are going to really get rid of and tackle procrastination. And so I hope you get to do that drill and take on the challenge. I'm challenging you to find out which of these reasons you're procrastinating on. And you know what, irrespective of how things go with procrastination or not, I want you to also always remember that you are more than enough. You are worthy, you're deserving, you are loved. And so let's go kick procrastination in the face so it doesn't hold us back from receiving every single thing that God has for us in 2023. It's been Franklin here, and obviously I'd like to hear from you as well. Why do you think that we procrastinate, and what can possibly be done as well? Thanks a lot for watching. God bless, and peace.